Developing news from overnight, investigators worked late into the night trying to figure out why someone was shooting a gun into the air near a busy road in East Nashville. This morning they have made an arrest. News Channel 5's Matthew Torres is here in the studio. So do we know why he was shooting into the air?
Well, police never gave a reason as to why, but they say the man admitted to drinking all day before firing the shots. Metro Police say a sergeant was driving down Trinity Lane around 8:30 last night when he heard shots coming from the A&B Towing Company. The sergeant said he thought he was getting shot at since the man was pointing the gun in his direction. Other officers came out to help and found the person firing the shots had gone inside the building and fired more shots into the air out back. Other co-workers and friends were also nearby at the time. Now, police quickly arrested Aubrey Vaughn and booked him before midnight. He was charged with reckless endangerment and possession of a handgun while under the influence.
When you fire a firearm into the air, the bullet goes out, it has to come down. So luckily no one was shot, especially on this busy road right here.
And police say other people were with Vaughn, but he was the only one arrested, and he has since bonded out. Jennifer.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Another shooting happened just moments before that, also in East Nashville. It was on Berry Street near McFerrin Park. At least one person was taken to the hospital, but it's not clear how bad the injuries were. Investigators say it's obvious that multiple shots, though, were fired. The Nashville Predators were facing a crucial Game 6 against the Blackhawks last night in Chicago. A loss would end the Preds' playoff run and their season. The game was tied at 3 late in the third period when Duncan Keith ripped the shot into the back of the net. The Blackhawks won the game and the series. News Channel 5's Steve Lehman was in Chicago and has more from a disappointed Predators locker room.
You guys came out so well early on, but it seemed like things really changed when they put Crawford in goal. What did happen at that point of the game?
Yeah, we had a good start to the game, but I think second and third they played better and they kind of outchanced us. And yeah, no, we didn't have the speed we had in the first, and we couldn't really find it. They're
really talented, obviously, but when they got going with that pressure late, how difficult was it just to get the puck out of your zone?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, their cycle game is really good, and their transition game, they got some fast players, and I mean, their D keep the pucks in the zone. So yeah, I thought we didn't do a great job getting pucks out, and kind of got us third in their last goal.
You ultimately outscore them for the series, yet you're going home. How much more frustrating does that make it that you played well, yet this was the result?
Well, it's frustrating that their season is over right now. It's just, I mean, you can't blame our effort. I think everybody left it out there, but yeah, obviously, I mean, looking back, there's some things we could have done better, but yeah, right now it's just frustrating for everybody.
I know it just ended, but for you guys to do what you did without your captain out there in this series, how much pride do you walk out of this locker room with?
I mean, it's tough right now. It's I think everybody's just really frustrated, and yeah, it's gonna take a couple of days and a couple of weeks to get over this. But yeah, I mean, we gotta after a couple of days, we're gonna look back and analyze it a little bit. But right now, it's just frustrating.
And we will have more reaction from the Preds coming up a bit later in sports. Tens of thousands turned out for the Country Music Marathon yesterday, and the winner was no stranger to crossing the finish line first. It was a three-peat for Sumner County school teacher Scott Whiteteca, who became the first person to win the marathon 3 times in a row. News Channel 5's Jason Lamb caught up with Whiteteca at his home after the race.
Like many families around Middle Tennessee, days like this have become somewhat of a tradition at Scott Whiteteca's house.
You think okay?
But with Scott, there's one big difference, because his tradition today started like this. For 3 years in a row now, Scott has joined about 30,000 runners downtown at the Country Music Marathon and beat them all.
The Country Music Marathon is kind of like the community's race, so I kind of feel like I need to represent Sumner County and represent the Nashville area.
With so many eyes on him, not the least of which were his students at H.B. Williams Elementary in White House, he says the pressure for another win this year was hard to ignore.
Knowing that everyone's watching the race and they want to see me in front, I kind of felt the pressure and I had to cover all the moves, so it definitely made me rise to the occasion.
He says winning the race wouldn't have been possible if not for his wife Mary and kids Kate and Ellis.
They love cheering for me. They were cheering for me today, saying, "Go, Daddy, go, Daddy." Anytime I do a run from the house, they both have to say, "Ready, set, go." If I leave without them doing that, it's a long night.
With another win under his belt, Scott says he's hoping to rest a little.
We tried to take a nap, but the kids weren't cooperating too well, so maybe tomorrow I'll sleep in a little bit.
But like most parents with kids this age know, Scott's bet on sleeping in tomorrow just might be something he can't win.
Wojtek says just like in years past, he and his students will be taking part in the Kids Rock race later this afternoon. He also plans on racing again next year, but before that, he is training for the 2016 Olympic trials for marathon running. On the women's side of the race, Oak Ridge native Melanie Coolins took home the win.
The last 5 were brutal, but I was really thankful for my 2 bikers. They were so sweet, and the crowd was so great, and everyone was so nice and encouraging and just cheering me on, so that was so great.
This was only Melanie's second marathon. She finished in an impressive 3 hours and 4 minutes. Half marathon winners for the men, Roosevelt Cook from Oak Hill, and for the women, Lauren Verzweveld from Fort Worth, Texas. Close to 30,000 runners competed in the 2015 country music full and half marathons.